objection from members of the board? Larry, if you could give us an example of explanation of where we stand?
Yes. The past practice in this district has always been that an administrator cannot do any coaching whatsoever. This district doesn't stand alone of that. Most districts have that. The rules of New Jersey Higher Education set forth very clearly that an administrator and a principal must devote 100% of his time or her time to the job for which they seek. There's also certain board policies which, although not directly on point, do impact upon the position. First of all, that anybody who volunteers in the district must be recommended by the principal, and that volunteer must be approved by the board. As I understand it, that has never come before the board since the summer that this individual wishes to volunteer for the position. So that policy has not been followed. Also, there's a policy on ethics that says no administrator shall undertake any employment or service, whether compensated or not, which might reasonably be expected to prejudice his or her independence of judgment in the exercise of official duties. It is very difficult with this policy for a existing administrator who is the, quote, boss, unquote, over the football coach in the school to also be a volunteer or be the sub rosa head coach over that. That's what causes the conflict. Therefore, because of that, there has been no instance in this district where an administrator has ever coached on any team, either as a volunteer or not. There's also one other fact, in that the position of coaching is really one that's in the teacher's contract and not in the administrator's contract. Those are the laws that impact upon this decision. Of course, it is finally a decision that the board has to make, but they have to be careful of what their policies say.
What are the options?
The options are to the board to approve the volunteer coach, that he remains a volunteer coach, to approve that, and to reapply for the position at another time if that position remains open. I understand the position is posted, and it could allow him to reapply for that position, for the assistant principal's position.
But he can't be the assistant principal while he's coaching.
That's correct.
But he can reapply. That's their only option.
That's correct.
I just want to have some context for when people come out so we know what we're doing.
Right. Did I understand you correctly? We could approve this individual as a volunteer coach, but his resignation as assistant principal would have to stand.
That's correct, with the concept that the position is now open and he can reapply for the position, although he couldn't hold that position while he's coaching. But I don't know when the board intends to fill that position, or can the board wait until the football season is over?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If he applies for assistant principal job, would they hire that assistant principal before the football season's over and then he's shut out again?
That's depending on the board. The board can make a decision to hold that position open until football season is over.
You can make a resolution saying that you will hold that assistant principal's job until football season's over before you decide on who you're going to hire for that job. Is that right?
But that's
I don't think-
posted, it's an open
It's
position.
an open position, but it's posted, but I still don't think that's fair either. But,
The board does not have to do that by resolution. The board can just do it by vote that they're going to hold the position open until December. Again, let me remind the board, this is a one-year concept. You can't do this every year. Okay, you can do it this year, but you can't do it from, year in, year out, certainly, because the person has to take that position and hold that position.
Does he get his teaching job back in high school?
He's teaching now, right? He's currently teaching. No, he said
Wheelbarrow and...
Oh, can I say, position in Manalapan has been filled and is teaching in 2 other schools, split time? Okay.
Not right either.
But I heard there was no written policy, it was assumed. That's the research that I was given when I did my own research. Can you clarify that it's actually a written policy?
Yes. Policy number 9180 is school volunteers. Policy 1540 is the Administrator's Code of Ethics, which is adopted by the policy and is also the administrative code. NJAC, the Administrative Code 6A 32-4 1F, provides about full-time employment of administrators, full-time jobs. Those are the matters. If you didn't get that, I'd be happy to give it to you again after the meeting, the sites.
I would love it, thank you, because sometimes that's up for interpretation also.
Is there anything else from the board at this point before we continue? All right. If you're on the list and you really are going to reiterate what's been said before, I certainly can't stop you from speaking, and we're more than willing to hear from you, but in the interest of time, if anyone would yield, if they're just going to repeat what has been said before. But in the meantime, next on the list is Craig Peterson. Sorry.
Mr. President, do we have a motion on the floor to move forward with that volunteer position?
We do?
I'll make it now, if that's the case.
Okay.
Specifically, that he remains as a teacher, volunteer coach, and can reapply for the assistant principal's job.
You sick of it?
And phrasing will be to remain open. Relax, folks, I'm getting to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's my motion, Mr. Lawson.
I think we also need to include language that this is for this year and establishes no precedent for the future. And
Let me just say, well, tell me when I can speak.
But the motion needs a second to the
I
motion.
can't even hear him.
The motion that's made is to accept the resignation, to accept him as a volunteer coach for the football season, to keep the position open until the football season is over, and to, this is for this year only. That's the basic resolution.
But just so I'm clear, we're not making a commitment. He can apply like everybody else can apply for December.
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay. No, it's not being held for him. It's not being held for him.
He was already given a job.
He also resigned, ladies and gentlemen.
Back on your word. You make a commitment to him if you want to make a commitment to me.
You gave him an ultimatum, hours before
Somebody
you
approved
got
this during the summer, and then you went back on your word. You don't say that in the speech.
I'll second Mr. Bruno's motion.
Keep it remain open for discussion.
Discussion by the board.
all right, we have a motion on the table. If anyone needs it restated.
I want to restate it, please.
So do I, but in a different way than she does.
The motion.
Your own motion, Jack.
The motion is that the resignation will be accepted, that the individual will be appointed as a volunteer coach for the football season, for this football season, that the position will remain open, and he is afforded the right to reapply for the position in December when football season is concluded, or at the end of November when football season is concluded, and that this is for this year only, to clarify, this year only. That's the essence of the motion.
Why did he have to reapply?
Because he resigned. Thank you. This is not time for public comment. I'm sorry.
My name is on the list, can I just speak to the matter that has not been discussed?
Why not act in the best interest of the kids?
About this matter.
The public session is not really over, so if they want to speak, then they need to come to the microphone to speak.
Please state your name and residence for the record.
You have to, Mr. President, there's an open motion on the floor. Someone has to move to table that.
I table.
Well, I second it, so I'll move to table, let them have public comment, and then we'll vote.
So
We
we
decide.
Ma'am, please let Mr. Peterson who's next on the list.
need a vote on the table. It can be a voice vote.
All those in favor?
Table.
Table the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
It's back in public session.
It's on the table. Mr. Peterson?
My name is Craig Peterson, graduated in 2008. You guys gave the assistant principal job to Coach Gallagher, right? Is that correct? At first?
Yes.
Okay. And then you're saying you will not hold the spot for him after you already gave it to him, and then you said he resigned. You guys made him resign, all right? You guys made him resign. That's what it's about. He wants to be with that football team because he told them that he would be with them from day one. So he's not gonna go back on that promise because he has that spot. He told those kids he will be there the whole season, and you guys put him in a situation where he was not able to do that. So his only action was resigning because he knows what's right. He knows that's what he had to do, to stay with those kids, to teach them not just football, but life, all right? That's what he did for me. That's what he did with everyone he coached for. He taught us more about life than football itself, all right? He taught me more life lessons. I'm playing college football right now, and I am the man I am right now because of what he did for me. And for you guys to take that away from what he's gonna give to the future of Manalapan football and Manalapan High School, it's just wrong. It's wrong. That's it.
James Gilbert?
James Gilburn, graduated Manalapan High School 2009, captained the football team 2000 to 2008 season under head football coach Tom Gallio. Many would say that Mr. Tom Gallio is a former coach of mine. However, I do not see him as a former coach, but as a current coach. I'm a student athlete at Monmouth University and a member of the football team. Throughout my career at Manalapan, I was blessed to have the most unbelievable coaching staff anyone could ask for. Coach Gallio, along with the coaching staff at Manalapan, I consider an extended family. Coach Gallio stands out for many different reasons. One of the most important is his moral character. He never asks anything of his players or students that he doesn't ask of himself. Any task that he has undertaken, he has dedicated himself 100%. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is, I can almost guarantee that Coach Gallio's truck will be parked outside that school. Because to him, it doesn't matter how long it takes. He always gets the job done. A great quote he once told me, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit." Words of Aristotle, but it was enforced by Coach Gallio. He has not only taught me the game of football, but he has taught me how to be a better person. He's a man of loyalty, respect, and honor. I cannot thank him enough for what he has done for me. Every day he exceeds the normal expectations of anything that is presented to him, and he gives his time to the school and the team.